space.
Oh,
Hello,
there you go.
everybody.
And
here's as somebody said, your two favorite people in one place. I think of John Goodman as when somebody asked the other day, is like, is John Goodman in PN? And it's like, well, it's not so much that John Goodman is in PN as John Goodman is just omnipresent generally in the industry. Yeah. There are some folks like that, and John is one of them. So welcome, John.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to do this. Look, PN is like the most dedicated community and passionate group around. And so I've been, I've known the PN community for a lot of years. I've known JB for a lot of years. Kate, we hung out like a couple of weeks ago where I drove up to you and you took me on a hike and didn't know that mosquitoes love me and took me through these mosquito infested woods. And I got about 1,000 mosquito bites. So thank you for that. And it's just such an honor to hang out and chat with you and stuff like that. So what I want to do today is just review how QuickCoach can help you impress your clients. It's like professional service, making your life easier at the same time, all for free, really quick. I mean, I'm going to kind of blast through it, but like, there's actually not that much to it, which is part of what I think you're going to see. What I've done is kind of ripped out everything that doesn't need to be there with software. And so once we're done, you're going to be in position to move forward with the tool with no overwhelm. Sound good?
That sounds amazing. Kick us off with, what is this QuickCoach thing? Because I know some people watching, they know exactly what it is. They've been paying. But some folks are just like, they haven't heard about this quite yet, but now they're fascinated because like keeping things simple seems very elusive. Right. So, and we're going to talk about that today. What's QuickCoach?
Simple tools are harder to build than more complex tools. I can tell you that much. Real quick, if you don't know me, my name's John. In addition to writing the textbook for online training, I've advised just about every major software company for trainers since about 2012. So you're probably asking or have asked, or I see asked every single week, multiple times, what software should I use? Right? Because there's a lot of options out there. And my honest answer is that it actually doesn't really matter. All are likely going to be fine for what you need. The only real way to make a mistake is to overthink it, try a ton, and then wake up a month later and you still haven't started. So that's probably not what you expected me to say. But you might be thinking then, like, why the heck did I create QuickCoach? Right? If this is what I believe. What frustrated me was that most coaches, they never actually work with more than 20 or 30 clients at a time. And yet every tool that's out there is designed for coaches working with 100 plus clients at once. And it just didn't match up. And so there's nothing wrong with the other tools. For the most part, they're a good tool, the right tool being used by the wrong person. They're way too complex with way too many features that takes way too long to set up and cost way too much in order to pay for all the stuff you won't use and you never asked for. So in the next 30 minutes or so, what I want to do is I want to show you just 3 quick things, and then, we can do questions and stuff like that. And if you have questions afterwards, if you're watching the replay, I'm in the group, so I'm happy to answer them. But number 1, overcoming your overwhelm, because you're a coach. You're not a software engineer. You should focus on coaching, not figuring out your software all the time, right? Number 2, how to get help within minutes if you have questions and stuff like that. And number 3, meshing QuickCoach with existing tools like ProCoach to get the best of like all of the worlds. Sound good? Okay. PN coaches mention to me all of the time that they're overwhelmed. So I'm going to share my screen and let's get in there. Whoa, there we go. So this is the homepage for QuickCoach, right? This is where you sign up, quickcoach.fit. Now I'm going to click login, and what you will notice is that it will take me directly into the tool. QuickCoach does not have passwords, right? Once you verify your device, you're in. There's a lot of ways that we've done that to reduce friction for you and your client. So I click login, and what it actually does is it takes me right inside because my device is already verified. So I'm going to go and add a client. Let's add Kate. And I'm just going to say Kate S, because actually I think I can spell your last name. Let's see. Vieva. There we go. Yeah, I got that right. The only field that's actually required is first name. And so again, like, this is how easy it is for your client. So create a client, and I'll show you how to do that afterwards. I'll show you how to like work on the client side afterwards. But I've just now created her. To solve this overwhelm though, what we've done with QuickCoach is we focused on the only one thing that every single coach needs to do really well, which is just build customized plans for clients. That's it. If you know how to use Excel, you know how to use QuickCoach. So I'm going to add a plan. And what I'll do here, you can see this is set up kind of like Excel. Now, I can individualize the variables, right? I can change the names. I can say tempo. I can write in literally whatever I want here in any language. I can turn them off. I can turn them on. And I can change this the same as you would with anything. Any exercise that I want to put in, let's say I want to do Kate's, I can add it now to the library. So you can see immediately now just how intuitive this is. You literally just type. There's no like clicking in little boxes, whatever it is. Now I'm going to click Add Kate Squats to your library, because whenever you save any task, which could be an exercise, could be anything, whenever you save it to your exercise library, what that does now is that actually saves any notes and any videos you associate with that exercise for the future. So let me show you what I mean. So first of all, you can click here. You can change this. Let's say I want to do like a warm-up. So you can do headers. You can do headers. And so, this is my warm-up, right? You can move stuff around. What I can also do is I can make this into a superset, right? And then I can drag stuff in. I can move around the superset. And I can maneuver this and change this however I want. I can add stuff, right? And I can link this as much as I want. Okay, so into edit properties now. Let's say I want to add a video, okay? You just load in any, oh, look, there's Kate. You just load in any video from YouTube or Vimeo that you want. It could be your video, could be video from anybody else. And then you can say, you can add in whatever note you want, form cues. And if you want, you can also add an audio note for the note, which is super cool. Once you've done that, you can see the icons show up. Now you can review these, right, and look at them at any point and change them. Now, what's really cool is that you guys saw that I just added that to my task library, basically to my exercise library. Now I can go in here on the sidebar and I can edit the entire exercise library if I want. But QuickCoach actually customizes to you as you use it, because what we realized is that all coaches coach and plan in their own unique way. But once they figure out how they're going to plan and build a plan, most of everything that they do follows a similar format. And so QuickCoach is designed to be very open-ended at the start. And then as you use it, customizes to you more and more and more and more and more. All right, so let me show you what I mean. So you saw that I saved this exercise. Now, as I start to type, I can select it and you can see the video, right? And the note is loaded back in. Now watch what happens. I want to edit that note. So I change it. The next time that I add that exercise, it's actually updated now, my global exercise library with any edit. So every single time you're building plans, as you're doing work, it's updating your library over and over and over and over again. Let me flip over now to Google Chrome, because what I've done here is I've loaded up like full workout. This is because I use this for myself, for my own training, because I love it, obviously. And I'll show you my own workout. So I'll show you this actually filled out. And so going into edit plan, you can see this is my next workout. Now, I don't have a lot of videos and stuff because it's for me. I don't need the videos, but you can see I've got my warm-up, I've got stationary bike, I've got 4 exercises in my warm-up, right? Then I've got my strength training and 3 supersets. And the variables that I like to use are reps, sets, rest, and RPE, but I could change this at any point. Now, at any one point in time, I can check out how this might look for a client, right? For peace of mind. And this is exactly how this looks like for the client. I can make sure that they're going to be happy with how it is. Additionally, your work never gets lost. So every time you do anything, the system actually saves in real time behind the scenes, the same as like a Google Doc would. So you actually never lose any of your work ever, no matter what. And also the next time you load up QuickCoach, so watch this. So if I close this completely, right, and then I load up again, QuickCoach, just the home page, what you'll notice is that it takes me right where I left off last time. So if you're in the middle of working on a workout or whatever it is, it takes you right back in. You don't need to log in, nothing, right? You saw that. Again, just removing friction. And so the goal in building this all was just super simple. What's the one thing every single coach needs to do? They need to build, they need to deliver, and they need to get feedback on any of their plans. So let me show you how to get feedback, right? At the end of a workout, you can see clients can send comments, clients can send audio notes. And then if you want to check up on any performance, you can click over here into past performance, and you can look at how somebody performed. Now, we don't overwhelm you with data. The client can type in whatever they want in whatever format they want in terms of results. And so let me show you, let's show you Romanian deadlift. So what you immediately see on the home screen is the last time it was performed and the results of that performance. If you want more detail, you click into it and you can see all of their performances. Again, you have their first performance, their last performance, because that's kind of most of what you need. And then you can look at all of their performances, look at the trend over time. And if you really want, you can go one step deeper and you can actually view the workout that performance took place. So you can see the context that it took place in, right? And the same type of thing, you can see all the different exercises in it. You can see all the performances of it. So you can see kind of how that worked. So do you guys see yourself using this? If you use QuickCoach in your business, I guess what I'll ask then now is, like, what do you think the impact would be of being able to just so simply, professionally be able to deliver workouts like this? Let's move on now to support. Y'all are busy, right? If you have a question about how to use something like software, I want you to be able to get the answer right away. So even though QuickCoach is free, we actually have an incredible support system. I'm super, super proud of it. So first off, we've got a Facebook group, right, where anybody asks questions. So for example, Mark, asked a question about different ways to show their link to the client. And you can see a couple people came in with some help here, brand title, that type of thing. So super active, super, super helpful Facebook group, which Amber and we call Amber the Quickie Queen. Her and me are in there all of the time. In addition, though, on every single page, you'll notice there's a question mark here. And there's view help docs. And so if you click here on any page, what it opens up is a tour of that page. Now we've built up an unbelievable library of tutorials, FAQs, that type of stuff for you in this program called Notion, which is really, really fun to navigate. So everything has a video, and we of course have our own YouTube channel, which you can look at the videos. But then if you go to the help desk, you can see there's all different demos, right? There's a how-to library. And you can search, how do I link videos to tasks? You can search for how to do that. Different pages of how to do different types of stuff. And then within each one, you've got all of the instructions of how to do that. So does this support system, like, it's funny when I talk to people, right? They say, oh, I'm worried because QuickCoach is free. How am I going to get my questions answered? It's like, we have an unbelievable support system, which I'm super, super proud of. So no worries there, I guess, is all that I'm saying. Finally, the third thing that I want to talk about is QuickCoach does just such an excellent job delivering nutrition and delivering a habit curriculum. But what happens then when, like, just a few of your clients needs workouts or wants workouts? Like, you have, let's say 15, 20 clients and 2 of them need workouts, right? You want to be professional because Google Docs aren't professional, but you also can't justify paying for an app, and you can't justify the time it would take to get set up on a complicated app. It's not worth it. So with QuickCoach, you onboard a client we actually have in like the first email, maybe we removed it. Can't remember. One of the first emails, we actually filmed a 3-second GIF of how to set up a client and send them their program. And so I'll show you how to do that. So you come over here, you click add a new client, you go add client, okay, Kate S2, whatever, create client. Now, if I want to load workouts into this client, which I'll do just because I don't want to send Kate her program before there's any workouts in it, you could, but it doesn't really make sense. Click over here. I'm going to assign Kate the Tushy Terminator workouts. Now you can click here and assign any individual pre-established template, or I can assign the entire thing as well. And so you just select the client, and notice I can select as many as I want here. So if you have a bunch of clients doing, the same program or whatever it is, what this does is it creates a copy of any of these workouts and assigns that to the client. So any edits that you make on the client side does not affect the actual template itself. You edit the template when you're editing the template. So I'll assign that, you get a little notification. Come back here, let's find Kate. We'll go Kate 2. And you can see all of these plans now are in her are in a program. I can move these around, I can rename it, right? And then when it's time to send Kate her program, I can click this button to send her the account. Now, I didn't enter a new email, so it's going to prompt me for her email. But if I entered a new email, just send it automatically. Or I can just click this button. It'll copy it. And I can send this link to Kate in a text message, in an email, whatever it is. Because QuickCoach doesn't force the client to download an app, to navigate all of these different usernames, passwords, whatever it is. On the client side, there is no friction. Clients freaking love it. And also it reduces a lot of annoying back and forth with you of like, okay, you need to set up the account. Okay, I sent you the link. Okay, you're gonna, you have to link it up to my account here, and then you've got to integrate this with that thing. And then it's like, it's super annoying for you. It's super annoying for the client. Now, you send them a link. This link is effectively a Google Drive link. It's a mini site for them that QuickCoach has created on the net. So I'm going to show you just entering this into my browser. Now, know that on the client side, it's mobile first, so it's going to look like stretched out because I use a 27-inch screen, but it works just fine. So I'm just going to copy this link in. Here's all of Kate's upcoming plans. Now, I don't have a lot of stuff loaded in here because it was just a template, but you can see whatever's in here now. This updates in real time. So Kate's workout, you can see, has nothing in here. Let's add that. Let's add some stuff in here. Now, what's cool is you can see this is updating in real time as I'm making the changes, right? I can click in here. Let's just enter in some stuff. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Now I come in here, and this is what Kate sees on her end. Okay. So Kate gets her link. She clicks it open. She has her workout. It's quite literally that simple. I won't say which one it is, but I had a trainer train me back when I was living in Mexico last year, and it was somebody that I hired, and he trained me with one of the major software tools, and I got set up on the app, and I had to download the client app and link it to his trainer app and all this kind of stuff. And then he's like, okay, I loaded your workouts, and I opened up the app, and I finally get this thing open after like downloading it and everything. And I was like, where are my workouts? He's like, oh, you have to click here, then here, then here, then you have to click there, then you've got to select this. I counted. It was 9 different clicks on my client app before I opened in the workout. Think about this from the client standpoint. 9.99999 times out of 10. When they open up their app, they're in the gym, changed, ready to work out. What do they need to see? I need to see my next. I need to see my next damn workout. Right? Like, why is it more complicated than that? And so all that they do is they grab this link, they pop it open, they see their next workout, they see upcoming plans. If there was anything that was already completed, so like I can show you mine. If there's anything that's already completed, if the client wants to see any past performance. So like this is the workout I did today, which counts now because I'm telling you about it on the internet. And so I can now view any of my own past performance if I want to go back as the exerciser as well. Additionally, when you open up your workouts as well, QuickCoach will show what the client did last time right underneath for any reference. And so if that task has been performed before, you'll be able to see it right below. But if they want to see any like deeper, any previous workouts or whatever it is, that's there. So you quite literally send them the link and they click the link and they open it. I don't really have much more to tell you than that. That's how it works. The cool part about this also is that you can also access this link, which means you don't even need to ever send it to your client or download a client app or anything like that. If you're in person, let's say you're working out with them, you can just open up the link on your own device and fill it out on their behalf as you're training them. So QuickCoach was designed to be used by hybrid trainers, online trainers, and in-person trainers, all with the same system. You don't ever have to send the client this link. They don't ever have to see it. It's just a way for you to track them. So you might be asking, like, why don't other apps work this way if it's this simple, this slick, this fast? And the reason is actually pretty simple. Let me go back on my face here. And I'm happy if people have questions to share my screen again. But the reason is pretty simple. It's because in the last year or two, technology has actually changed a lot. Basically, browsers have become way more powerful. So it used to be that somebody would have to download an app from like the iOS or the Android system in order to run an application like this. That's not actually the case anymore. Now, running these types of things in browsers is both faster and a better user experience than doing it as an app. So because QuickCoach is new, we've actually been able to take advantage of this new technology, which means that you get to take advantage of the new technology. And then there's a host of other things then, and basically nonsense that we don't have to put up with from a developer standpoint, which are costs that, like, one of the other major platforms, I kid you not, has 24 full-time developers. Think about what you're doing 99% of the time. You're sending a spreadsheet to somebody across the internet. Well, guess who's paying for those 24 developers? You, the user. All because their system is so inefficient, is working on all of this outdated, archaic systems that are just much more expensive to maintain. And then in October, we're actually going to be adding the option of having your own client custom branded app as well on your client side. So even if you don't like the link system, it's not going to be an iOS or an Android app. It's still a browser-based tool, but it acts exactly like an app and it's custom branded and it's beautiful. Look, what it all comes down to is this: like, I want you spending your time and money on helping your clients in professional development. I don't want you spending your money on software. So your next step, set up an account, go play. Like, it is so intuitive. If you need support, we're here for you. And there's a fun welcome email too for you, which I hope makes you laugh. So go to www.quickcoach.fit, enter in your email. You're going to get a verification code that's sent to you via email. Enter that in on the page, you're up and running. That's all. There's no passwords, there's no nothing. Every device, every browser you use has to be verified once. Once you verify it, you're logged in forever. If you are on a public device or whatever it is, you can also just log out if you want that. So I want to get to questions, but I'm also curious if you can type in. I can't, it's weird doing this, Kate, because I can't see anything on Facebook, but I'm curious. Maybe what I'll do is I'll open up Facebook on my other screen because I'm fancy like that and have two screens.
You might want to mute yourself here before you do that, because Facebook Live defaults to sound. So,
okay. I can see it. So what part of QuickCoach then, I'm curious before we dive into questions, like, do you like best? If you can just type that into the comments and I can see that, that'd be really cool for me.
Well, there are a couple of have come in already, so I'll give it a little shout out here. Near says brilliant software. As my career is transitioning from tech, I can really appreciate how much love and hard work have been put into this app. And I think it's so cool when somebody from the industry, right, like from the tech industry, can see it here. They're like, yeah, this is simple. This is pretty. You know how much work this has been. So yeah, thank you, Near. I think I'm sure John appreciates that.
For context, Near, thank you. This has been really going back 7 years. In 2015, I started telling some of these companies that I was advising how much of a market opportunity there was for a free and simple tool to exist. Basically, it looks like this. If I were to draw a pie chart, because I like pie, you have that little sliver is the percentage of people who work in fitness and nutrition that the current tools are actually serving right now. And so I didn't want to create something that served people who are already being served. What I decided was to build something for the rest of us. So, you know, in like Seinfeld, it's like Festivus for the rest of us. This is like software for the rest of us. And then it was just a matter of finding the right tech partner. I mean, it took me 5 years to find the right tech partner for this. We worked with a product innovation firm that teaches at Harvard University to really nail down the use cases and the function. And it wasn't about more, it was about building in the appropriate constraints. It was about removal, not addition. And then, yeah, I mean, our tech lead, just to give an idea of how skilled he is, owned a CrossFit gym, built software for his CrossFit gym. But his last position was he was the VP. So he was the head of all technology and infrastructure for CoinCloud. He built the entire tech infrastructure for the biggest Bitcoin ATM rollout in the United States. Talk about a complicated tech project. It's a good, yeah. The code framework is phenomenal.
Like as far as the checking the boxes, right? Like that simplicity aspect, like the fact that it's like, I know you refer to it as sort of the expression Google Docs came up, like you use the Google Doc, like where, and a lot of people use Google Docs and Google Sheets, right? Because it's sort of, it's simple, it's low hanging fruit, right? But
and it's intuitive, like, you get it, you know how to use it, right?
We know how to use those things, but if I'm anything like Darlene, and I think, like I know Darlene, I think we have that in common. It's the fact that the simplicity aspect of QuickCoach compared to something like Google Sheets for me, like I open a Google Doc, but I will then sit there struggling how to set up the damn thing, right? Like, what headers do I use? Where do I enter things? And it's those details that are actually not there that I think I would find overwhelming. And then I will just find a way to procrastinate because it's overwhelming. Yeah. What Darlene called it, she said, you basically just made an Amazon click to buy trainer edition, right? Like how easy it's like. So
yeah, that's cool.
If you haven't heard that expression, I think that's a great one for it.
That's a new one. I mean, what it comes down to is this. I think I said this on the call. I don't know. Whenever I do these things, it's just like, it's like, what did I say for the last half an hour? But what it comes down to is this. You're effectively sending a spreadsheet to somebody across the internet. I mean, that's what you're doing. Now, spreadsheets are phenomenal ways to input information, but they're absolutely terrible ways to represent that information on the other side. And so what QuickCoach has done is it says, okay, what if we can use the best way to input the information, you know, a spreadsheet, and then grab that information and translate it into something that's going to be super user-friendly on the other side. There is no way. So we looked every which way into building this thing. There is no way, I can tell you this without a shadow of a doubt, there's no way to improve on Google Sheets for building a workout. But it's not a good way to represent the workout. It's not a good way to deliver the workout to a client. But it's a damn good way to build the workout. And so QuickCoach is predicated on one simple question, which kept coming up, which is, what if Google Sheets were designed specifically for trainers? What would that look like? And that's what we did.
That is essentially what it is, isn't it? It's Google Sheets that is designed for trainers. Like it's like just put things in. And I love knowing that you use this for your own workouts, because like as a coach, like as a possible user, right? Like I don't do exercise programming for clients very often, if at all. That's not really like my wheelhouse, but I do once in a while, right? And because I do once in a while, once in a blue moon, I would do programming for somebody who maybe is like postpartum or something like that. Sure. I definitely am not signing up for Trainerize or signing a client up for Trainerize for this one kind of single use case basis. I'm not going to be doing it for myself, but I can definitely see as like, that feels to me like a very easy way to ease in QuickCoach, like use it for yourself, like John does. As soon as I'm shifting away from running and into weight training for the fall winter, I'll use QuickCoach for my own workouts for sure.
Well, and when you create an account, you have one client preloaded into that, which is yourself.
Perfect. Yeah.
So we actually have, because we know that everybody wants to play around with it first before they put their clients in. Totally reasonable. I would too. You are your first client in QuickCoach. So use it for yourself. Play around with it. See how it is. That's the interesting thing about building software like this, is that I know that it's a long game. Like I would never expect somebody who's using another tool to like, oh, John Goodman has something. I like John Goodman, or I don't like John Goodman, but whatever, right? Like John Goodman has something. I'm going to take everything I'm doing and move it over there. Like, that's just simply not going to happen. What we have seen has been happening a lot is people who are using other tools are not taking their clients off of them, but every new client they get, they're loading up onto QuickCoach. So as people kind of fall off in one place, they're replacing them into QuickCoach. It's a long road, which is hard for me because I'm an immediate person. You know, like the Mishner, like marshmallow test, like I would have eaten the crap out of that marshmallow.
High urgency. Well, I mean, we're kind of getting into, I think, the transition and maybe working with multiple tools at the same time. And I know we'll chat a little bit about ProCoach there, but Robert had a question. I popped it in for you into our Zoom chat there.
Oh, so you put it into the chat. Do I have to look at the chat now? There's so many like buttons.
My places to look. I can read it for you. So Robert is actually asking, curious how, the $1 million question, John, how can you be free? Can you offer some transparency on how QuickCoach is going to recoup its R&D, which we both know is substantial, and offer customer support and all the things? How are you doing this magical Santa Claus thing?
Right. Robert, thank you for asking that, man. Yeah, so for a little bit of context, QuickCoach has cost somewhere around $450,000 to build from start to finish. And a lot of that is because we had just a really, really in-depth product innovation cycle. The actual coding and development has been probably about a year, but it's not the coding that's the problem, right? It's like figuring out what code to write. And so, yeah, so about $450,000. So there's a couple assumptions that I built this off of to take it back a step. I've been in the online marketing, online fitness game since 2010, really. I started my website 2011. And so I've seen all of these cycles happen where algorithmic changes, email deliverability starts to go down, attention starts to get scattered. People now are existing often in like group chats, like not even on social media, where there's just no way in any kind of an affordable way to capture attention for anything that you're doing. It's just unbelievably expensive. You know, when I started, you could send an email and get a 60 or 70% open rate. It's just not happening anymore. And so I started looking at all this stuff and I started saying, okay, I could do whatever I'm normally doing, which is spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, or some years even more of that, on conventional advertising for things like the Online Trainer Academy certification, our mentorship, all of my books, that type of thing. And I could do the conventional thing, right? Which is, okay, I'm going to send an ad, which is going to go to an ebook or a mini course, which is going to get you into a nurture sequence. Then I'm going to do some sort of a launch or something like that and hope that you buy. Okay. Well, I see lead costs going up like crazy there. Or I can do content, right? But content's really hard and promoting content is getting even harder. Well, what if I do software? What would happen there? What if I take that same marketing and advertising budget and instead build a software tool? And so I don't do public math, so I can't do the exact numbers, but just to give you an idea, QuickCoach has generated somewhere around 28,000 now leads, basically people using the software, people on the wait list. We've got about 16,000 users. And so that's 28,000 leads that we've generated for $450,000. So irrelevant of everything else. Let me do that quick math. That's about $16 a lead, right? Immediately now, that is a better return. Just to give you an idea, I know some of their numbers, the certification companies, because we've been in talks about just various partnerships and licensing and stuff like that. It costs $50 to $60 a lead for the major certification companies right now to cold traffic. I'm acquiring leads with QuickCoach for $16. And instead of that lead now being acquired for an ebook or something they don't really care about and then having to prove myself to them, I'm giving them something that A, they love me for, helps them, saves them money, and here's the kicker, they log into every single day. So how many now, from a pure marketing standpoint, how many impressions did I just buy for $450,000? And then you look at the email open rates. My email open rates on the QuickCoach waitlist was 78%. An email open rate on a list that's 15,000 people is generally like you're doing great if it's 30.
Yeah, I was going to
say. My email open rates were 78%. On the QuickCoach user list, it's closer to 68, 69%. So when you start to do that math, Robert, I mean, it's a great question. It's a different way of doing business. And then the other piece of it is, if I'm honest, you have a software program with tens of thousands of users logging in every single day that is inherently sticky because they're putting all of their clients and all of their information on it. We don't sell the data or anything, but like you have all of these users. It's not going to be hard to make money from that in the future if I want to. I mean, this is obviously an extreme example, but like Instagram was bought for $1 billion with 0 ways to make money, right? Just for the user base, just for access. So I hope that answers some of your question, Robert. Since I built QuickCoach, every other aspect of my business's revenue has gone up and profit has gone up way more. We're going to have the best year this year than I've ever had in business.
Well,
and
John,
that's with building a free software tool for $500,000.
So for everyone to love you, because you've mentioned, people love you because of this thing now, for everyone to love you, all you have to do is spend $500,000 and build a tool that everybody needs and give it away for free. You
got to think about what they're using that just like doesn't quite make sense why they're like, why? So here's the data. Okay. We've done all these surveys because through the PTDC, we have access to all of these people. 92% of people who work in fitness do not use any software that they pay for. Of the remaining 8% that do use software, 95% of them are dissatisfied with their current solution. It's so clear cut. And it's not that these tools aren't built by smart people. It's not that they're not good tools. They absolutely are. It's that an average personal trainer who's hybrid has 8 to 12 clients. Why do you need complicated automation? Why do you need all of these complexities? Why do you need these bloated tools? You don't. The only reason why all of that stuff exists is because these companies are owned by, for the most part now, private equity or venture capital, and they have to make money every quarter. And the way to make money is to charge their users as much as they can charge their users. And it's a balance, right? You want to charge them enough, as much as you can without them falling off. And the way to justify that is to build more and more and more and more features. But like, the features are largely unnecessary. For some people, they're necessary.
The price tag of free is really appealing for folks that are starting out, right? Because I'm just thinking of our community. Like if I am level 1 nutrition student or a recent grad who's starting out, I may not simply have the client load or budget to be signing up for fancy solutions I may or may not need. So that price tag of free, like, hey, I got my certification, or I'm working on my certification and I'm trying to kind of figure out what's next for me, as I'm trying to monetize my business, as I'm trying to actually start bringing some money in. This really does feel like the right price tag for a lot of people.
I don't want you to spend your money on software before you have money. Yeah, I mean, look, this is like more pricing psychology than anything else, but there's no competitive advantage to being cheap. There's a competitive advantage to being expensive, and there's a competitive advantage to being free. Free, for a lot of the reasons that you said, it's super low barrier. A lot of people are going to try it out. Software like this is inherently sticky, which basically just means that once somebody uses it and gets set up and comfortable on it, the odds that they're going to leave and move to something else are much lower than a lot of other things, potentially. Students, people coming up in the game, like colleges are starting to adopt QuickCoach for all of their students, like that type of thing. So that's the next like generation, right, of people coming up. But, and then there's a lot of, and then there's a huge advantage of being really expensive, because when you're really expensive, you can out advertise, you can offer insane, like, why do you think whenever you ask, hey, in any Facebook group, not necessarily, the PN one is managed better than most Facebook groups. But in any other Facebook group, if you ask what software should I use, you're going to be hit with like affiliate links from 3 or 4 different ones. And it's always the same ones. It's because companies are able to offer large affiliate programs because they charge a lot of money, because their margins are so high. That's one of the advantages of being expensive, is you can pay way more to people to promote for you. And that's a huge competitive advantage.
John,
and so there's advantages on both sides. You know what I'm saying?
I'm curious, you've mentioned the stickiness, right? And I think to a certain extent, once any one of us buys into any one program, it's sticky. Like right now, I am sticky and stuck with Evernote, right? Because I've been in it for 8-9 years, and now I really want to get out, and I don't know how. So no, this is a call for help. If anyone does, please tap me, send me a DM.
How are you going to export your stuff off of there? There's no chance.
My God. But I guess, what would you tell a coach who is already sticky stuck somewhere else, like who has programs upon programs and templates loaded into another training program? And yes, they might be paying $50, $100 for it, whether it's Trainerize, right? Like, or, there's tons of other programs, not to pick on Trainerize today, right? Like,
Trainerize is great.
The one that
I love Trainerize.
Yeah.
I love the people who are associated with Trainerize. I love everything about Trainerize.
So if I am sticky, if I'm sticky somewhere else, what would you tell me as a now potential QuickCoach user?
Yeah. I mean, are you happy there?
The ultimate question is, are you happy always?
Are you happy there? If so, don't even think about this question anymore. Don't listen to me. Turn this off. Just waste your time. I mean, if what you're using is something that is fine for you and it's good enough for you, keep using it. Don't even think about this. Your time's better spent on other things.
Right. If
you're not happy, what I would do is I would make a plan and say, okay, well, what really matters and what doesn't matter? Most of what you've loaded onto that other platform, I mean, we evolve as coaches. It's kind of a joke that like every 6 months you look back at what you did 6 months ago and you're embarrassed by it, but it's true. And so a lot of what you did there is probably stuff you're embarrassed by. Look at this as an opportunity to do a little spring cleaning. My wife and I, this will be my 10th winter in a row living abroad for the winter. So I've spent 4 to 6 months every single year living in a different country. And up until 2 years ago, I didn't have a house. Like we'd quite literally rented a furnished condo in Toronto, rented a car in Toronto, and then left for the winter, gave back the keys to both, went overseas somewhere. And I can tell the biggest benefit of that for me was that every single year, at least twice, I was forced to completely reassess every single thing that I owned and every single aspect of how I spent my days and lived my life. And every single time I threw out a lot of stuff, I kept other stuff, and I got better and better and better. I figured out exactly, okay, this is what, because I mean, I had to quite literally carry everything I owned on my back. When you do that, you gotta like be pretty sure about the stuff you're gonna own. And I can't speak enough to just how beneficial that's been for me now that I have 2 kids and a house and all of this, because I don't have that kind of bulk, and I can very easily just like rip stuff off and throw it away. So a lot of the time we just collect for years on end. I mean, this is not just software. This is like John's metaphor of the day. We just collect stuff and put it on our backs and throw it in our basements and whatever it is. And like, I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. Maybe this is an opportunity to do a little bit of spring cleaning and reassess what matters and use this as an opportunity to get better and also simplify.
Well, John, I know you and I have this in common, like this, like valuing being light on your feet in many ways, right?
Yeah.
So, and it just really feels like QuickCoach is that if software was light on its feet, that's what it would look like, right? It's just like a super versatile, minimalist thing.
Do what you need to do and then get the heck out and live your life.
And then you notice how also we are talking about software, and yet it still turns into a coaching conversation, because it comes down to, are you happy and do you want to change? If you don't want to change, that's awesome. High five, and let's keep drinking our beer, right? Or lattes or whatever it is we're drinking. But if I do want to change, then let's talk about how you want to change, and then experiencing some degree of discomfort, putting yourself in some discomfort, like to learn a thing. And in this case, like there isn't really much learning there. Let's be honest.
But it's a change.
Click and play. But it is a change, right? And that's worthwhile as long as you know why you're doing it. Because what's something is not working for me, and I would like to make that change, to try something else. I see those questions come up with the community sometimes, and folks watching, and I know John's there as well, will always see me clarify sometimes where somebody says, I'm using PayPal right now for payment processing, and I'm thinking of using Stripe.
Why?
Thoughts? Should I do it?
Why?
And it's like, well, that's not enough context, right? Like, why are you considering the change? What about PayPal or whatever it is you're doing, the software program, what is not working? Because if everything is working, like you said, please stop looking at stuff, right? Like you're just creating busy work for yourself.
It makes so little. Oh, I don't want to pay the extra plus 30 cents fees. It's like, why don't you just work on like making an extra $5,000 a month, and then you don't need to worry about that.
Then it doesn't matter.
I mean, it's all of my. I have a lot of friends who are like, oh, you know, I've contacted a lawyer to like move to Panama and avoid that. It's just like, Jesus, man, like, what are you spending your time? Yes, I agree. I mean, look, my stated goal, mission, whatever you want to call it, with QuickCoach was that we're not in any way, shape, or form competing with existing software companies. If somebody decides that QuickCoach is better and they're unhappy with what they're currently using, great. I'm happy you found something that's right for you. But the truth of the matter is, I don't want you to change from someone else. I built QuickCoach for people who the other software platforms are not the right fit for. It's not the same category of tool. It's a different category.
Can you
and
talk
I think that's
about
what it comes down to.
Can you talk about the people this is not for? And already we've mentioned one category of such people. If you are happy with the tools you're using, stop. Well, they probably stop watching if they listen to us.
They probably stop watching. I mean, look, if you have 30 or fewer clients, QuickCoach is the right tool for you. If you have 50 to 100 clients at any one time, it's probably not. Could you use it for that? Absolutely. We have Mike Thompson runs a high school athletic program, and he has 147 student athletes.
Can you talk about why that recommendation from you? Like if I have like 28, yay, but like 52, you're like, I don't know if it's for you. How come?
I mean, well, first of all, I mean, if you have 52 clients, you're probably not training them personally. Once you get over 30 or 35 clients, you're going to have a very difficult time giving them individualized attention.
Right.
And so if that's the case, you want a system that's more robust with automation, and it's worth taking the time to set it up. Automation is unbelievably powerful, obviously, but it's also really scary because it's so powerful that if you set it up improperly, you're freaking screwed. I can tell you this as somebody who has hundreds of thousands of emails on an email list at any one point in time. You set one trigger the wrong way, and all of a sudden 100,000 people get a message that they weren't expecting about something that they don't want to hear about. Oh, that's going to be a shitty day. And so you've got to be really, really sure if you're using these more robust systems in exactly how you're setting them up from the start. Because if you don't, you're probably going to make it up as you go, and you're going to make mistakes. And then all of your time is going to be going back and like fixing those little mistakes and whatever it is. And so QuickCoach is for people who want to offer more of an individualized approach. It's not for, call it an influencer who wants to take in 100 people at a time and, send them the equivalent of an ebook, but like, hey, I'm going to use my app and like send them my app. There's better tools for that. It's like anything else. It's just my very smart friend David once said to me. He said, we were talking about like I think it was the best deadlift. I think it was the context, and he's just like, "Well, I've been doing this for 15 years, coaching people on deadlifting, and all that I can tell you." When everybody asks me what the best deadlift is different shit is different. And there's no best, right? There's just, depending on what you want, what I have found is that the vast majority of people who work in health and fitness at any one point in time have 10 to 30 clients. They need something that's going to allow them to work with their people professionally. They need something that's going to allow them to do it simply. And they need something that's going to allow them to showcase their own uniqueness in what they deliver to that person. That's all. If you're beyond that, yeah. I mean, look, we are in talks with a couple of some of the biggest gym chains in the world about building out a very, very like robust enterprise solution, but it doesn't exist yet. Maybe there'll be enterprise if you manage staff, but for now, if you have staff you want to manage and you need like admin access to their accounts, that doesn't exist also. So it's not the right tool for you if you have that. That's really the only two groups of people.
Well, I mean, and the one thing I definitely wanted to chat also, and I'm just like looking at the time here, so let's pop into that, is how QuickCoach might actually work with ProCoach. So, and I know that on our community team, we have at least a couple of folks that are doing just that. So like I think people using more than one tool has always happened. And I know that before like QuickCoach came along, I definitely know that a lot of people were using ProCoach and Trainerize together because ProCoach from the very beginning has been an excellent solution for folks who want to deliver nutrition coaching in PN way, because it's obviously built on the PN philosophy, but it's never been a good solution for people who write their own exercise programming. Right? Like we have workouts options there, but they're written for you. They're excellent tracks. I've tried most of them and I love them.
Sure.
But if you are actually writing your own workouts, then ProCoach immediately has that gap for you. And what coaches would do, like that's probably one of the most common use scenarios that I've heard. They would use ProCoach for their nutrition coaching needs, where they can assign habits and practices and sort of use that curriculum and philosophy that they know and love. And then they would close the gap of assigning workouts and programming workouts for them in another tool. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the points, immediately one of the places of friction for clients, and clients are often resilient. Like clients will often do what you tell them. Like they might not like it, right? But it's like if they are motivated, they'll do it. But that place of friction almost immediately has been two separate logins and two separate things to log into, because I am now logging into ProCoach to see my stuff, and then I'm logging into the Trainer Eyes. So from what I've heard on, and I kind of would love to just hear your opinion here too, what I heard, one of the biggest places where the ProCoach and QuickCoach really play well together is because QuickCoach does not require you to log in anywhere. There is no account. So it truly is like, here's my nutrition stuff. And by the way, I have this link for my workouts.
You could send messages in ProCoach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can even send a message to a client that says, hey, here's your workout for today, and just send them the QuickCoach link.
Right.
They don't ever need to log in anywhere. The other part of cohesion is, if you work with anybody in person or ever work with anybody in person, you can print as well, any of the programs. I didn't actually show that. But if I'm here, you can see my screen again. I can pop in here at any point, and I can actually just click print. And you can see it pops up here. So I can print this and bring this around with the client, or the client can print that and give it to them too. So they don't even ever have to log in. Like, you could just send them this PDF, for example, for them to take with them. Or on the client side, it's the same type of idea, right? So they pop open the workout for the day, and same type of thing. Anytime they're on the client side workout, they just click the print button, and they've got it. So there's another point of cohesion as well. Like, it's super easy. People ask us all the time about, hey, can I embed this into my website or whatever it is? It's like, yeah, if you already have like a membership site or whatever it is for your clients, let's say on a website built out, because people use all these types of things these days. Well, that's why we built it with a link. All that you do to embed somebody's program into your existing system is you just embed the link like you would embed any link on any website ever. You can create a button for them, and you can say your workout. And the nice thing is, because that same link automatically updates in real time, whenever they click it, it's going to have whatever you've loaded for them. So you never need to change it. You just have to change the workouts on their side. That was one of the reasons why we built it that way. It was like, I don't even like, this is like the Craigslist of like, I don't want to ever have to change this. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to think that, like, yeah,
whichever system you use. Because I'm thinking, like, I will admit somewhat ashamedly, like, I have sent emails to clients that said, hi, do 3 sets of this exercise, insert YouTube link, and then do this exercise, insert this YouTube link, right? And that is like the lowest hanging fruit. Like,
you want to know something? Can I tell you something crazy? I know we're running out of time. So a lot of people, I'm sure, follow him on Instagram, but Ben Bruno is one of the top celebrity trainers in LA. And he's been a friend for years and years and years. And he trains like Justin Timberlake and a whole bunch of people, right? Like top of the top A-list. And so part of my research for QuickCoach was I had like 100+ conversations with just trainers about how they send their programs to their clients. And I spoke to him. You want to know how he sends Justin Timberlake his program? He types it out on his phone in the notes file on his phone. And he sends the notes file to either Justin or like Justin's like handler. Justin, if he's in a hotel gym or whatever, will whoever works for him, or he will like film the gym with his phone. Ben will look at the video. He'll type up a workout on the notes folder of his phone, and he'll send it to him.
That's amazing.
Justin Timberlake.
I would love to see Justin Timberlake start using QuickCoach. I'll be honest.
Yeah, right.
That would be an upgrade. John, thank you so much for your time. So for folks watching live, thank you for sticking with us. And for those watching on replay, that is usually most of you, I do encourage you to just pop questions into the thread as you're watching this. Both myself and John are always on the lookout for questions. Yep. Happy to answer about maybe how you see yourself using this, integrating this with another tool, or really anything that comes to mind. Check out the link. It's QuickCoach.fit. Yes. And we've also had Amber, shout out to Amber, who's a fellow level 2 grad. John told me he only hires level 2 grads, y'all.
No, it's not true anymore, but for a while,
that was like the job requirement. But Amber has been helping with responding to questions as well. So you'll see her in there as well. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.